I have a question for you. How are you budgeting your emotional currency? So the other day I was having an interesting conversation. Actually, my husband and I were having a conversation with both of our daughters, but this is about my middle daughter. We were having a conversation and it started out pretty simple. We were just having a discussion about her grades, y'all, and we noticed she started getting extremely worked up, so much so the conversation stopped being about her grades, but it was instead about how she was responding to the conversation. And so there was a principle that I taught her that honestly I'm still learning, and I want to share it with you because I think it can help you as well. I want you to think about your emotions as currency. Yeah, as dollar bills, like money. Let's take a step back. I want you to imagine you have right now in your hands $100 bills. I'm sure if you're like me, you are careful with your coins. And so if you have $100 bills, you're not going to just randomly throw it around. You're going to use it in a way that matters to you. Well, y'all, that's the same mindset I want you to have when it comes to your emotions. I want you and I to learn how to be very careful with how we spend our emotions. Some of the things that we allow to trigger us, some of the things that we get worked up about, some of the things that are overwhelming us really isn't worth what we are spending on it. Sometimes when I'm reading through comments, not even on my own page, just something that's viral, and I started reading through the comments, I get all worked up and I'm like, wait a minute. I'm not spending my emotional currency wisely. Now listen, y'all, this is not about ignoring your feelings. This isn't about stuffing your feelings. This is simply about you and I and my daughters learning how to manage our emotions in a way that helps us, that doesn't harm us. Listen, once you and I realize how valuable our emotions are, how important they are, we're going to learn to be very careful on how we spend them. We're going to learn to process situations in a more intentional way. We're going to learn to stop making assumptions, to stop coming to certain conclusions, to stop believing everything we think. So back to my daughter. My daughter was spending a lot of her emotional currency in a way that wasn't healthy for her simply because she was misinterpreting our conversation. And so we had to pause and revisit what she was understanding so that she wouldn't get so upset and spend her currency in a way that didn't honor her. And once we talked about it, once she understood more of what we were actually saying, she realized that she had gotten worked up about something that simply wasn't true. So in other words, she spent her currency, she spent her emotions on something that just was not worth it. And y'all, I'm much older than my daughter, and I can point to so many times in my life where I have done the same thing, and I bet you can too. But moving forward, what you and I are going to do is that we are going to hold our currency closely, and we are going to spend it in a way that brings us a return and does not leave us in a deficit. All right, chat with me, y'all. Share with me in the comments how you have learned to budget your emotional currency.